Hello there, students. That's your teacher, Jennifer, one more time. I'm so glad to be here with you in this new class. Okay, so today we're going to explore the plot structure. Maybe when you hear the term plot structure, some clues comes to your mind. Why? Because sometimes we don't have the opportunity to watch that, I don't know, that favorite television show, or maybe we missed the premiere of that famous movie, and you ask someone else to tell you what's the story it's about, okay? So they often use that plot structure to tell you what's the story it's about, okay? How? Because they use that structure to tell you the sequence of events that will complete the whole movie. I can say like the whole story or even a narration. So that's why today, we're going to study a little bit more about that. And for that, I prepare a PowerPoint presentation that includes some details about that, the diagram of a plot structure, and as well, I have an example, okay? So let's start. First of all, I have to say something. So guys, when you see plot diagram and the narrative arc, they are the same, okay, at the end. Why? Because remember when we are talking about narration, we have many literary genres. Remember that we have studied before those literary genres, and we have like fairy tales, short stories, novels, and among others. Okay, so remember the plot diagram and the narrative arc are the same. Okay, so let's continue. After that, we have like what is a plot structure? Plot is a series of events that make up your story. You have to include the order in which they occur and how they relate to each other. What does it mean? It means that each event has that connection, that link with the next events, okay? So why? Because when we are using that plot structure that is very often when we are talking about the formative approach in literature, we have to follow that structure in order to add like that coherence to your story, okay? To your narration, that at the end that story makes sense. That's why you follow that structure. So we are going to continue talking about the plot diagram. Here we have a plot diagram. I have to tell you that the idea of a plot diagram goes back from the ancient Greek. Aristotle thought that each story has three different stages. As you can see in the bottom of the diagram, we have like the first stage that is beginning, then we have middle, and then the end. Okay, and then we have the rest of the components. The first one is exposition, then conflict, then a rise in action, next climax, fall in action, and at the end we have the resolutions. So guys, now we're going to develop a little bit more each one of these components, okay? So let's move. So as you can see, guys, the narrative arc is made up of the following pieces, okay? First, we have a exposition. It said that is the opening of a story, including a reader's introduction to characters and settings. Okay, what does it mean? For example, do you remember those fairy tales that our grandparents tell us when we were a child, okay? They start talking about, I don't know, if a story will have a princess or will have some siblings or if she have a mother and so on, okay? That is the presentation or the exposition of the characters of a story and the setting, okay? Where the story will take place. Okay. Then we have the racing action. That is a series of events that complicate matters for your characters, okay? And increase that drama and suspense in the story. Then the climax, that is like, I can say like the middle of the story and the highest point in the story, because your character encounter their opposition or either win or lose something, like uh, explode that motivation to develop a story. Then we have a fall in action, that is when the tension is decreasing, like that series of events that unfold after the climax. When we are in the fall in action, maybe you can guess how the story is going to end. Okay. And then we have the resolution, that is the end of a story, as I say before, in which the problem is resolved, or maybe it couldn't, or depending of a story. Okay. We can also call the denouement, or let me see, catastrophe or revelation. Okay. It's another way to know the resolution. Here I have an example. I think that is a good example to this, to apply that plot structure. That is the short story, I can say like it's a fairy tale, The Three Little Pigs. Okay, it's a famous story that I'm sure that you know it. Okay, let's start with exposition. The three little pigs leave home for the first time. Why is exposition? Because we know that the story will have three little pigs. Okay, we know the characters of a story. Then we have a series of events that will summarize, I can say like that race in action. Okay, the first event said that the first pig builds house of a straw. Okay, it's mean that the second event is that the big bad wolf blow house down and eats the pig. Okay, then we have the third event, that is that the second pig builds a house of wood, and it happened again. Okay, the big bad wolf blows house down and eats the pig. Okay, then we have like the third one, like the third pig. It's wiser, I can say, because it's a house of bricks. That's why the wolf can't blow down the brick house. Okay, and the last event that summarizing the race in action is that the wolf tries to trick the pig to come out of the house. Okay, what is the climax in this story? As you can see, guys, the wolf gets frustrated and jumps down to the chimney to get the pig. Okay, but in the following action, we have that the wolf falls into a boiling pot over fire. It's like, I don't know, like the wolf has a bad, like it was like a bad revenge, right? The pig, that is the resolution of the moment of a story. Like the pig cooks and eat a big bad wolf as a revenge. Okay, remember that this story have different versions, but in this version I can say that it's a good example to know or to apply that plot diagram. Okay, remember guys, you have to follow this structure in order to include that coherence and that your story makes sense. Okay, I hope that you really understand what the plot is about. So now we have a time to it's time to practice. So individually, you will complete a matching task. I will share the link to you, and we are going to start right now. So, guys, see you in the next class. Bye bye.